I'm sitting there watching TV and then it hits me. I've been running my fingers all across my face, picking at bumps, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. In less than 10 minutes, you're gonna learn exactly how to stop compulsively picking at your face and popping your acne. Do you do this? Because I used to do this all the time and I did fix it, so you definitely can too. But before I figured it out, it made my acne look like it was 3 times worse than it actually was, because I had all these red spots, these scabs on my face that weren't even active acne, along with the active acne that I was causing to stick around for longer because I was picking at it. A lot of people can't resist the urge to pop all their pimples or pick at their skin, but in 2013, this was actually recognized as an obsessive compulsive disorder called dermatillomania. It's described as a body-focused repetitive behavior, and it involves compulsively picking at the skin or acne. Now, whether you have the actual diagnosis or you just want to get better at not picking and popping so often, by the end of this video, you will have all the tools that you need to actually help you stop. Now, it's important that we learn to stop this behavior because it can cause you to have more acne, more severe acne, and it can also cause you to have acne scarring and discoloration. So let's just jump right into this. These tips will get more powerful and less orthodox, so a little bit weirder as we go farther into it. But first up, identify your triggers. Pay attention to when and why you're compelled to pick at your acne. This can help you have a better understanding and make a plan to address whatever underlying emotions or stressors that are fueling this, this pattern, this behavior. I learned about something called HALTS, and it stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or stressed. And it's something you can ask yourself whenever you notice yourself picking or popping. Are you any of those things? You've heard of people being emotional eaters, and in a lot of ways, this is similar. We pick and we pop when we're feeling any one or more of these emotions of halts. Next up, keep a journal. Every time you catch yourself picking, write down the date, the time, the location, and write down whatever emotions or triggers that you notice you're feeling in the moment. You can also document whatever strategies you're doing that are effective or are not effective, so you can start to kind of create a plan of what's actually helping you and what's not really worth your time, right? Having a journal helps you to visualize how often all of this is happening and then also understand why it's happening. All right, so now that we're learning to be more mindful, we're already taking back control because we're observing the habit instead of just letting it control us on autopilot. That is huge. So we already made a huge first step. Now we can start to implement some of the strategies to actually stop this habit. So next up is keep your hands busy. I notice that whenever I'm really concentrating hard or I'm thinking about something, I need to do something with my hands. That used to be biting my nails, which is another bad habit, or picking, but I realized I wasn't just gonna magically suddenly stop needing to do something with my hands just from sheer willpower, right? So giving them something to do when those triggers would usually be causing me to pick is huge. So a stress ball or a fidget toy or a pencil or a pen or a clicker, whatever it is, just keep it handy. When you catch yourself picking, immediately replace it with that item. Okay, this next one is extremely important because it literally stops you from being able to pop your pimple. First, I want to point out, if you are dealing with active acne right now, you got to check out my acne program. It's called theacnemethod.com. It simplifies literally everything by helping you identify your own personal acne triggers, because everybody is different, and then develop a plan so that you can get rid of it as fast as possible. I made it super easy to follow. It's just 10 steps, and literally thousands of people have already completed it. So go on the website, check out the before and afters, and then become the next before and after. All right, let's move on to the next thing, which is use pimple patches. So if you haven't heard of these before, these are hydrocolloid bandages. They're actually really helpful at moving pimples along faster, but for this purpose, it just helps us to not pick and pop because 1, you can't literally see the pimple as easily in mirrors, and 2, even if you accidentally start to pick your face, because the pimple is covered under the patch, you literally can't pop it without having to remove the sticker first. So this just creates an extra step that stops you and allows you to have a chance to catch yourself before you start popping and picking. Going along with that, the next step is to cover your mirrors, or at least lower the lights in your bathroom so that you can't see your acne as well. So many times I remember walking to the bathroom thinking, okay, I just want to pop this big white head, but that's it. I won't pop any other spots. And then all of a sudden it was like I woke up in a time warp 20 minutes later, and my face was super red because I had scrutinized every square inch trying to pop even the tiniest blackhead that wasn't anywhere near ready. When you're leaning super close into the mirror, 2 inches away with all the lights on full blast, it makes everything seem worse than it actually is. And then because of the way it makes you feel, you want to pop all of them to get rid of them ASAP. Obviously, we know that that just makes it it worse, but anyone with acne knows this. Acne is not always logical. It makes you do things that don't make sense. Okay, next up, we gotta punish ourselves. Okay, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But what can help is to create some sort of action that you have to do every time you catch yourself picking. So for me, I chose doing 5 push-ups, but you could do burpees or air squats, or you can even do something non-physical, like texting a compliment to one of your friends. Whatever it is, the idea is that you break the autopilot and create a slight inconvenient consequence, and this can help you to break the pattern and make you more cognitively aware at catching yourself before you pick or pop. It can also make you more fit in the meantime, but really it's just creating a pattern disruption. Another really good tip is to keep your nails short. When you have longer nails, it makes it much easier to scrape as you pick, or it makes it easier to pinch when you're trying to pop, and this all leads to longer lasting spots and to scarring. So having short nails just makes it harder to get in there. The next step is to get rid of any tools that you use to pick. If you have acne lancets or a blackhead extractor tool and you find yourself using them when you're picking, just get rid of them. I know they're legitimate tools. I know you probably paid a couple dollars for them. They actually are helpful at extracting blackheads, but if you're using them compulsively, then they're doing more harm than good. So just get rid of them for now. All right, this next step is definitely the scariest one to put into play, but tell your best friend or someone in your family that you trust or your partner about this. I know this sounds really hard to do, but just follow me here. Only do this with someone who absolutely loves you, wants to help you, and will never make you feel bad or gross as you try to improve this habit. If you can't trust them, don't include them. But you can use them to either talk about your progress, celebrate your wins, keep you accountable, give you advice, just check in with you constantly. Or if you're actually physically around them all the time, then you can ask them to very kindly and softly, gently point it out to you whenever they catch you doing it. Next up is journaling. Now, this is different than the diary I was talking about earlier that you're keeping track of your picking, your popping inside of. This is journaling in the morning or the evenings just to decompress all the emotions and the thoughts and the stress that you've gathered throughout the day, right? This is something I definitely need to do, or I just get all sorts of weird because sometimes our bottled up emotions or ideas or tasks that we need to remember, it creates stress, it creates pressure, and then that all manifests through us picking and popping and all sorts of other stress relieving tics. Get all of your emotions out on paper, the good, the bad, all of it. Just help clear some of that clutter out of your mind. Next up, reward yourself. So this is clearly opposite of what I told you earlier, but this can reinforce good new habits. So let's say you were able to catch yourself 5 times, or you have not picked for 3 days. Whatever it is, figure out what it is that you're gonna reward yourself for, but then do something nice for yourself. If it's a treat, a piece of chocolate or something like that, or buying yourself a small gift online, or taking a hot bath, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But we can retrain our dopamine circuits to reinforce good patterns. So the next one is a little bit more deep, it's a little bit more complex, but look up cognitive behavior therapy, habit reversal therapy, and acceptance and commitment therapy, or work with a professional therapist. You can learn a ton about how to undo addiction patterns with actionable strategies like this that have been developed over a long period of time and are extremely effective. And ultimately, if you haven't been able to improve the habit on your own, do not feel ashamed for reaching out for help. That is something we should all feel proud of. A lot of times, people will not allow themselves to reach out for help because they have too much pride and then they let their problems fester and get worse. We can't always change the way that we were made, but we can learn tools and strategies to improve them and to live a better life with them. And sometimes we just need a professional who's got serious experience under the belt and who's done this a billion times to make it happen more quickly and more effectively. Look, be patient and be kind to yourself. This isn't black and white. If you can't stop entirely, but you've improved and you're picking 80% less, that is a huge win that you have to celebrate. Don't get caught up thinking that if you ever catch yourself picking ever again, that you have failed and you are a failure. Life isn't about perfection. Do your best and make sure you celebrate your wins and be kind to yourself when you stumble so that you can get back up and you can keep trying your best. This habit was something that was really hard to reverse for myself, and I ended up having scarring and discoloration after I cleared my acne because I was popping so much. I have a lot of videos on how to improve acne scars and discoloration, but in addition to those, check out my favorite skincare brand. It's called Banish. It's aimed at improving rolling and boxcar scars as well as redness and hyperpigmentation. description. You can use my discount code, it's Brian5, to get a discount on it. I know these tools are helpful, but I also know there's a lot of other helpful tips. So if there's anything that I didn't mention in this video that you think could help other people, please leave it in the comments below. You have no idea how big of an impact that actually can make. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't for weekly skincare and acne uploads, and remember, you are not alone, you are beautiful, and you're part of Team Acne. I'll see you guys in the next video.